filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. And it is Conference Championship Week, aka Championship Week, man. And I'm so excited. We got 4 games tonight, 5 games tomorrow. I do got guests coming on the show. One will be a little late. But let me introduce before I introduce my other guests, we are a network. So we have many shows on this network. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave every Tuesday and Friday, 7 to about 8:30ish. Unfazed every Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, featuring Joe and AJ. We have BWT, Baseball with Teddy. Episodes drop, so just be on the lookout for those. FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Yesterday started week 14 in the NFL. Shout out the Lions getting that dub against the Cowboys. A lot of fantasy points to be scored in that game. So hopefully you had a player besides George Pickens. He did not do so hot. Next, we have Real Ballers Only, RBO. That's hosted by Vaughn. NBA show. Pistons play the Blazers tonight. Good luck, Detroit. And last but not least, we have In the Red Corner featuring Tomo, Ricky, and Ty. Boxing episodes. They normally drop on Sundays. I want to see if they talk about the Terrence Crawford stripping. I'm pretty sure they will, so tune into that on Sunday. They drop around 7 o'clock. And that's all the shows we have on the network. So please like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps my channel, CTC, as well as theirs. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now, for my guest who's backstage, family to the show. He's always, he was here last year in Conference Championship Week or Championship Week. And he's here this year, Miami Hurricane fan. Sorry, my boy, that you won't be talking about today. I do, man. I really wish that we were talking about y'all this week. But it's my boy Ace. Shout out my boy Ace. Welcome to the show as always.
Yo, man. Thanks for having me back. As you see me again in my Hurricanes garb, hurt to my core because we're not playing this weekend. But you know, it is what it is, man. We ain't handle business and we got to own it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And shout out to my guy in the comments. How you doing, my boy? Hopefully enjoying this Friday. Hopefully enjoy this content. But yeah, man, I was rooting for y'all, man. I really was. I don't understand how Duke played their way into the ACC championship game, but we'll talk about them later. Anything you want to say to the people before we get started?
Nothing, man. It's just it's great to be here. I always have fun on the show, and Notre Dame does not deserve to be ahead of us.
I knew he was going to take a shot at me for that. And if you don't know why he said that, there's an episode that I dropped Tuesday reacting to the college football playoffs top 25. Basically, I'm reacting to the college football playoff bracket, but I reacted to the whole 25. I talked about that in that game, in that episode. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. That's why there will be no poll talk in this episode, because that was covered on Tuesday as an episode by itself. Oh, funny enough, before we get started in college football, our college basketball teams play against each other tomorrow too. But let's be honest.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Duke tomorrow. That should be a good one. But
let's keep it on brand for right now, or on one sport rather.
Man, yeah, I'm just excited for that game. That should be fun.
And the Steelers and the Ravens play this week.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Steelers Ravens this Sunday. Yes, it is. That is true.
It's a lot of static in this little chat right now. It's all good.
That is true. But if you're ready, We'll start with the Sun Belt, which I saw somebody call it the Fun Belt Championship game, and that is Troy at James Madison. James Madison comes into this one as 23.5-point home favorites. Yes, home favorites. The Sun Belt Championship game will be played at James Madison tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN. No, true story. I was looking at ticket prices and everything, but I was like, dang, I got my show to do. I'm not making it to JMU by the time the show ends. That joint like 2 hours away from my house. So we'll just have to stick to watching it on TV. But it would have been fun to catch it live. I know the atmosphere is going to be great. Troy is coming into this game after beating Southern Miss and taking away their division of the Sun Belt that Southern Miss basically held for the entirety of the year, while JMU dominated their side of the Sun Belt, only having one Sun Belt loss on the season. Now, Troy, as the visitor, always does do the visitor first. Troy is now led by Goose Crowder. Tucker Kilcrease did a great job holding it down while Goose Crowder was coming back from injury. Goose Crowder has since come back from injury, and like I said, they have taken over their division of the Sun Belt. He has now gone 93 of 156 for 1,118 yards, 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Tay Meadows in the backfield. Now, Troy's run game has been lackluster, but he does lead that backfield, Tay Meadows, with 152 carries, 685 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And Ra Thomas leading the receivers at 31 catches, 495 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Trey Taylor's the guy behind him with 28 catches, 478 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, Ra Thomas did have that incident, I believe, at Georgia that got him dismissed from the program. He's found new footing at Troy and will be playing for a Sun Belt Conference Championship game. Now, I do have I'll say an impact player or an X-factor player, and I went on the defensive side of the ball. I went with Donnie Smith, who has 9 sacks, and he's going to be key in getting to the quarterback and Alonzo Barnett, who just been taking the Sun Belt by storm these past 2 years. Do you have an impact player for me for the Troy Trojans?
The quarterback, Goose
Crowder.
Yes, I think that in order for Troy to win this game, they're going to have a lot of chunk plays. You know what I mean? JMU is very good, and they're both scoring offense and they're scoring defense. So it's going to take, a lot of mistake-free football. They're going to have to be able to execute in the red zone, and a lot of that is going to fall on the quarterback for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the thing that's going to hurt Troy, now when I say these stats, I don't mean last in the country. I mean last in the conference or first in the conference. So you get the gist. These are conference stats, not countrywide stats. So Troy, they're third in scoring defense, which is absolutely great. They give up 23.9 points per game because they're going to need all they can get from the defensive side of the ball going against the JMU offense. But they are last in rushing. So they will not. They're historically this season have not been good running the football, which is big when you're going against a JMU team, which you may want to try to play clock management, keep the ball away, keep that offense off the field. You're going to have to be able to establish some type of run, which they're not currently good at in conference. Now, they are towards the top defensively in a lot of categories, but offensively, Troy is towards the bottom in a bunch of categories, which may hurt the Trojans. Anything else you want to talk about, Troy?
No, because to be honest, I don't really think Troy is going to win this game.
We'll save that. We got to talk about the James Madison Dukes. And they're led by, like I said earlier, Alonzo Barnett, the quarterback who has been taking the Sun Belt by storm the past couple of years. They do throw in Matt Saluka here and there on certain situations, certain down and distances. But it's mainly Barnett, he's currently 183 of 297, 2,440 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And you can add on another 455 rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns for the quarterback of JMU. I think in the backfield, they have Wayne Knight, 169 yards, 1,051 yards, 8 touchdowns. And at receiver, Landon Ellis, 32 catches for 532 yards and 5 touchdowns, mainly a running team of the JMU Dukes. Now, JMU, they are first in a lot of categories in the Sun Belt, both offensively and defensively, and that's why they've been so dominant in the Sun Belt. But an impact player for the JMU Dukes that I have is Trent Hendrick, the linebacker. He's going to be big in stopping the run that Troy has troubles getting going and forcing Goose Crowder to complete or convert on large third downs. So, and do you have an impact player for JMU?
Yes, my impact player is Wayne Knight. I think that JMU does a very good job of being a balanced offense, and the balanced offense is nothing without its running back. Now, this is a guy who has 1,000 yards on the season, I believe about 8 touchdowns. I don't think, while Troy does have a fairly physical defense, I don't think they're that deep. So I think that JMU, if they, if they control the tempo, control pace, and they, chip away at them, stay ahead of the chains, I think that the running back will definitely play a big part in getting this win.
I agree. I do think Wayne Knight is going to be huge for the JMU success. Now, with all that being said, we will have our winners picked, and I'll start. I am rolling with the Dukes of JMU. Why? Is because, like I said, man, they're both they're so balanced as a team, offensively and defensively. They do a good job of putting up points while not allowing you to put up so many points in their own. If you just look at some of the scores, they're blowouts. Coastal Carolina was the closest in their division to having a shot at taking it, and they just blew them out the water. A lot of the games not even close. And then I look at the Louisville game that they played early in the year, and for the most part in that first half, JMU was pretty dominant. Louisville being Louisville, second half they turned it around, but first half I was kind of worried that JMU might run off with it. Like, to be honest with you, so I think this Dukes team is really good. Not just good for a Group of 5 team. I think they're a really good team. Period. And I do think Troy, salute to them getting there, but I think the lack of a run game is going to hurt them tremendously, and that'll make them one-dimensional. And I think that will play right into JMU's hands. So I am taking JMU to win this game. Now, whether I'm taking the 23.5 or not, that's a different story. But Ace, who you got and why?
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm not taking the 23.5, but I do think that JMU will have just firm control of this game. I think they have the advantage in the trenches on both sides. I think that, they're very well at dictating on early downs and, imposing their force on the opponent. And as long as they continue to do that, I mean, the spread is the spread for a reason.
True, I do agree. I agree. So we both got JMU on this one. So if you're ready, we'll move on to our next bowl game at 7 o'clock. Not bowl game, excuse me, championship game tonight at 7. We have the Conference USA championship preview that involves Kennesaw State actually being 2.5-point road favorites against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. This is their second time in the conference playing for a conference title, back to back. But both teams feature first-time head coaches of these programs. Charles Kelly for Jack State taking over for Rich Rod. And I'm so sorry, I forgot Kennesaw State's coach name. But either way, both of them took over for the first year, and both of them are now fighting for a conference title. If you remember, Jacksonville State did beat Kennesaw State at home earlier in the year, giving them the tiebreaker over Kennesaw State. It was a game which Jack State did kind of dominate throughout, but Kennesaw fought their way back to make it a ball game. Now, Kennesaw State, they are led by Amari Odom, who did have some turnovers in that ball game in the first matchup. Amari Odom, he's 145 of 224, 2,139 yards, 17 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. But he also has 379 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns to add on to that. They have Coleman Bennett at running back, 131 yards. Carries 634 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Gabriel Benyard, one of the best receivers in the Conference USA, who has 54 catches for 877 yards and 9 touchdowns on the year. Now, my impact player for the Kennesaw State Owls is Barron Hobson, the linebacker with 120 total tackles, because they're going against such a rushing attack, heavy rushing attack of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. He's going to have to be huge in quarterbacking the defense and making plays, getting Jack State behind the chains, forcing them to pass the ball. You have an impact player for the Kennesaw State Owls, Ace.
Yeah, I think the impact player for Kennesaw State is Preston Daniels. I think he's a physical runner on the inside, and I think that they're going to have to really control the time of possession for this game because, let's be real, if Jackson State has the ball, I think that Cam Cook is just going to take over, and they may not be able to have the opportunities to keep up.
Yeah, Jacksonville State, just want to correct you there because people going to be like, Jackson State, you meant Jacksonville State.
Yeah, Jacksonville State, yes.
But yeah, I can see that. The running back for sure. Just trying to play clock control. I can see that. I will say this: Amari Odom. You got to be accurate in this game, man. You have to be. You can't have these turnovers like last time. You got to be accurate with the football. Can't miss throws. Can't miss opportunities because against this Jacksonville State team, they can make you pay. Now Kennesaw State, they're second in offensive efficiency. They're 11th in total yards defensively, which is not good. That's 11th in Conference USA. And they are 3rd in passing, but 9th in rushing defense, again, going against a heavy rushing attack in Jacksonville State. Speaking of, Jacksonville State is led by Caden Creel, quarterback having a year on the ground, just like I think his name was Tyler Huff last year, who was killing him. And what was the running back name last year? Oh my God, I think he won Conference USA Player of the Year, and I'm blanking on his name. But both of them had a day last year. Both of them had a year last year. I can't. It's not Andrew Paul. That's the name that's coming to my head, but it's not him. I can't remember his name. Was it Trey Stewart? I think it was Trey Stewart. I think it was Trey Stewart. Pretty sure it was Trey Stewart, the running back for Jacksonville State last year, who was killing in Conference USA. But yeah, Caden Creel, 104 of 170 for 1,245 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 picks, but 973 yards on the ground and 6 touchdowns on the ground on the year. Cam Cook, like Ace mentioned, the TCU transfer, he's having a year. 276 carries, 1,581 yards, and 15 touchdowns on the ground for the running back. And DeAndre Johnson. Now, I put DeAndre Johnson because Brock Reichsteiner, who's been the number one receiver throughout the year, he's questionable. I think he will play tonight, but he's questionable, so I put him second. DeAndre Johnson has stepped up in a big way while he's been gone. He has 20 catches, 564 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, Brock Reichsteiner, he has 33 catches, 356 yards, and 4 touchdowns at that receiver position. And my impact player for the Jack State Gamecocks is Traquan Fagans, the cornerback. He's going to be huge in guarding Gabriel Benyard on that outside. I believe they'll put him one-on-one with him, and he has to win that matchup. You have an impact player for Jack State.
Yeah, I know I said I was talking about Cam Cook earlier, and I do think that he's the best player on the field in this game. However, I think DeAndre Johnson is the X factor. I think that the way that Jackson State runs the ball, it'll set up the play action very well for them. And I think that's where DeAndre Johnson has thrived. You know, he's 6'8". He's had 300-yard games in the last 5 games, a touchdown in each of those last 5 games. Like you said, he stepped up in a big way. And, you know, what other time is there to step up rather than the conference championship?
Yeah, I was thinking about DeAndre Johnson, especially because he caught that Hail Mary pass against Kennesaw State, and I'm pretty sure he had a day against them. But I ultimately went to the defense side of the ball because of how good Gabriel Benyard is, and that's why I chose Traquan. So I'm not mad at you picking DeAndre Johnson as an impact player 100% because that was my number 2. That was my second way. Now, speaking of Jackson,
and I'm sorry, 6 touchdowns in the last 5 games.
Cool. So, yes, Jack State, first in rushing offense, first in total yards, first in scoring, 8th in scoring defense, 5th in total yards, and 3rd in rushing defense, 8th in passing defense. So Jacksonville State, offensively, tough to stop. Defensively, a little up and down. But with that being said, my winner, as a dog at home, I'm going with the Jacksonville State Gamecocks to win back-to-back Conference USA titles last year. I mean, yeah, same as last year. I think they just dominate on the ground. I don't think they blow out Kennesaw State like they blew out Western Kentucky. That game was close. But I do think they dominate on the ground. And when you're dominating on the ground, it's tough to, A, force turnovers, but B, it's easier to get turnovers because you're forcing teams to pass to get back in the game. And with the lack of accuracy, or the lack of belief in Amari Odom's accuracy, I do see Jacksonville State creating a couple turnovers like they did in the previous matchup. And I think Jack State gets a win here and win back-to-back Conference USA titles. Ace, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this game is going to come down to like physicality and the time possession battle, and I think that that's where Jack State plays their best football. You know, I think if you give Cam Cook the ball at least 20 to 25 times, that's going to set up a great precedent for them to crowd the box and try to stop him and set those edges, and that's exactly when DeAndre Johnson will have his time to get a 70-yard touchdown off or something like that. You know, I just think this is just a team that not necessarily outmatched, but I think that it plays more to Jacksonville State favor.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Styles make fight, and you think this Jack State team is the style of play that Kennesaw State does not want to go against. And I agree. And I also agree with the fact that being able to run the ball, you know, Jack State still playing with tempo. That did not leave when Rich Rod left. They still play with super fast tempo.
Yep.
And they do like to hit DeAndre Johnson over the top on deep big plays. So if they do creep up, DeAndre Johnson will try to I just got some crazy news. DeAndre Johnson will try to beat them over the top. So I agree. I am taking Jack State as well. We got a comment and then we'll move on. Shout out to Locust LITG. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hopefully you like the content and you can subscribe. I gotta read this real quick. So give me 1 second. This is about the guest that may be coming on. Oh my lord. Well, he'll be here. Just a little bit more of a delay, but he'll be here. We'll move on. to AAC champion, the American Athletic Conference Championship preview, which features North Texas at Tulane. Now, this is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is the game that everybody is looking forward to tonight. Just for the
Absolutely.
night.
This is the one. This
is for sure. Okay, cool. Now I'm not wrong in that assessment.
This is the one.
This is the one. Tonight at 8 o'clock on ABC. I'm super excited. To me, this is kind of like what Ace was kind of saying with Jack State, Kennesaw State. This is the battle of styles. You got North Texas, who loves to air it out. Now, they got a running back in Caleb Hawkins who can run the ball. But Drew Mastermaker and the boys, they love to air it out. And I believe this is what Coach Moore's last game. I think he's coaching this one, and then he's moving on.
I think both coaches' last game.
Because Tulane coaches. John Summerall is going to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I think it's both. I forgot where Morris is going.
I want to say Kansas State.
No, Kansas State got
like that. Oklahoma State. It's Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State. Yep. He's going to Oklahoma State. John Summerall is going to Florida. Which shout out to Florida, man. I think this. You know what?
That's a great hire, man. That's a great
last
hire.
time I said that about a Group of 5 coach that went to Florida. He's now back in the Sun Belt. But I do.
Well, he's going to go thrive.
I think John Summerall is a great hire. I will say that. But yeah.
I think the problem is, are they going to give him the keys for real? I think that's.
I think so. I do think so. I think so. You better, but I think so.
Now, yeah, Tulane, but that's for another time.
Yeah, Tulane. Hey man, what's this? 3 years straight? 4 years straight in a conference championship game?
And you lost your starting quarterback from last year and your top running back from last year. So I mean, you got to respect it.
Why did Mekhi Hughes go to Oregon? He's about to transfer again.
He might have just ruined his career, low key.
Well, thank God they redshirted him, so he has another chance to bounce back. But
yeah,
just imagine Mekhi Hughes with Jake Retzlaff in this offense. Boy, I tell you, I think Tulane would be favored if they had Mekhi Hughes. But there are a team. I feel like Tulane's a team that wants to run the ball because passing the ball ain't really their forte. Like Jake Retzlaff can pass it, they just don't have the weapons to pass as much. So that's why I think it's a battle of styles here. But we'll get into North Texas first. And North Texas is led by aforementioned Drew Mastermaker, who has a great story. If you don't know his story, I recommend you look it up. He was a guy who didn't even start in high school. He was a 0-star recruit. And now he's playing for a conference championship game. That's just the gist of it. There's more to it. But he went 271 to 382, 3,835 yards, 29 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Caleb Hawkins, 193 carries, 1,216 yards, 23 touchdowns at running back. So like I said, they got a running back who can run the ball. They just love to air it out, which I mean, with Mastermaker, why not? And then Wyatt Young at the receiver position, 62 catches, 1,203 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Now, my impact player, I went with Ethan Wazlowski, the linebacker for North Texas, because one, their run defense is atrocious. I will say that. But two, he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to make big plays for this defense. He's going to have to stuff some runs for a Tulane team who they can pass the ball, but I don't think they really want to pass the ball all willy-nilly. So he's going to have to make plays. Impact player for you for North Texas.
Is there any other guy? It's the man. It's the freshman phenom. It's Drew Mastermaker.
Okay. I like the Drew Mastermaker. Yeah, he is the engine that gets us going.
He's the guy. You know, he's the leading passer in the FBS, if I'm not mistaken. They have probably the number one scoring offense. I mean, everything runs through him. The guy's amazing. His story is amazing. Never having to start a high school game. Now you come in, you're playing at D1 football, you're balling out. Like, I love it, to be honest.
Yeah, I love it too. And I think he's kind of the reason. Well, his coach is called the quarterback whisperer too. Let's not get that misconstrued.
For sure. I mean, Cam Ward, John Mateer, you know.
Yeah, John Mateer, bad.
Yeah, maybe not. Let's mention him.
But I mean,
abysmal.
You could Drew Mastermaker makes up for that in a big way. And I think Oklahoma State brought him there because that's been their issue, quarterback for sure.
Yeah.
But
and who's to say he doesn't transfer?
That is true. I can see him following him to Oklahoma State. Why wouldn't I? I went from not starting at high school to playing D1 power conference football.
Even with the crazy throwing motion and all that, it's like, you know,
sign me up. I'm following them
for sure.
But North Texas, like you said, they're first in scoring. This is in the conference. Second in passing and first in total offense. While they're sixth in scoring defense, last in rushing defense, like I said, atrocious run defense. first in passing defense, and fifth in total defense, mainly because of the passing defense. But we'll move on to the Tulane side of the ball, which Tulane is led by Jake Retzlaff, which don't really look into why he's there. It's not bad. It's just kind of, I don't want to say it's funny because there was lying involved in that. That's why I said don't look into it. But the second part of why he's there is kind of funny. He went to BYU. That's all you need to know. No soaking involved. Anyway, Jake Retzlaff, 209 to 334, 2,717 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He also added 561 yards and 14 rushing touchdowns with that. Their main weapon, I only had 2 guys that they led by, him and Chaz Preston, because to be honest, like I said, they want to run the football, but it's really Jake Retzlaff running the ball and making the effort. You want to say Drew Mastermaker is the guy, and rightfully so. I think Jake Retzlaff is the entirety of this offense for the Tulane Green Wave, if I'm being honest. But Chaz Preston had 36 catches, 582 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the year for the receiver. Now, an impact player I had, this is the first one where I went to the offensive side of the ball. I went to Javin Gordon, 111 carries, 479 yards, 5 touchdowns. They're definitely going to have to run the ball against the worst ranked run defense in the conference. So that's why I went with the running back there. Who's your impact player for Tulane?
I think it's funny that you went offense on this one because I went defense on this one. I went Jaheim Johnson, the team leader in interceptions with 3 on the season. I think he's a ball hawk, and he's going to have to be able to show up in order for North Texas to stop Drew Mastermaker in that air raid offense. You know, this is definitely going to be a battle between, like, you know, just tempo and explosiveness versus ball control and, you know, trying to run the clock. As
I
a
do
lot
like,
of these games are.
Yeah, I do like the defensive side of the ball for you in this one because the game they lost to USF, North Texas was turning the ball over crazy. So that is one of the biggest recipes in stopping North Texas is creating extra possessions, especially you want to take advantage of that defense. So I do like that there. Speaking of Tulane, they are 8th in scoring offense, 7th in total offense, 10th in rushing offense, 6th in passing, while being 4th in scoring defense, 4th in total defense, 2nd in rushing defense, but 11th in passing defense. Now, we're probably going to differ in winners here, and this is why we're going to differ. Because if you remember my preseason show, my 10 teams to look out for in the group of 5, Tulane was one of them. And Tulane was one of them because I had them winning the American Athletic Conference. John Summerall, he has experience in winning the conference, as Troy. He has experience of making the conference game, but they did get the brakes beat off from last year against Army. I'm down with the ship, man. I picked them in the preseason. It's probably not the smartest to pick them right now going against that passing attack, but I'm dying with the ship. I'm taking Tulane to win this game. Like I said, 1, because I'm dying with the ship, but 2, I do think that Retzlaff and the boys can take advantage of this horrendous rushing defense. And I think that they can force a couple turnovers against Mastermaker, and I think that'll be the difference in the game, winning the turnover battle. So I'm going to go with Tulane. Ace, who you going with?
Well, I'm going to go with North Texas just because I think that Tulane won't be able to keep up scoring-wise for North Texas. Now, if they do have all those turnovers, it definitely will not help them. But I trust Drew Mastermaker. I trust Hawkins in the backfield in the red zone as well. You know, I think that they have the power to finish drives against this Tulane defense, albeit a great Tulane defense in the AAC. But I just think that, you know, it may not be enough. As long as they can avoid negative plays, you know, to keep the tempo up, have explosive plays, it'll be, you know, not a walk in the park, but it'll be business as usual. Because I can't remember who they played a couple weeks ago, but I think it was like one of their more televised games, and I think they didn't have like the greatest performance. And I think that like people may not really understand or
You
respect
talking about North
this.
Texas?
Yes.
He went crazy against Charlotte. It just didn't go crazy at first against Charlotte.
What game was that? I can't remember exactly what game.
I remember the USF game was nationally televised, and they lost. That was at home. That was a big one too.
Yeah, they lost bad that game.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one of them.
It's definitely that game, and maybe people just haven't been able to watch Drew Mastermaker and see what he's doing, but this kid is kind of special, man.
You know, I 100% agree. Like I said, 1, I'm down with the hill, but So
A good
that's
captain goes down with the ship, brother.
yeah,
You
I gotta
know.
go down with the ship, man. I went down with the ship
Hey,
last
man.
year and it burned me with Tulane
Fine,
getting
man. But
spanked.
listen, Tulane gives up 250 passing yards per game, so we know there's going to be movement of the ball.
Yeah,
Now it's going to
finishing.
come down. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. It's
finishing.
going to come down to the red zone offense and
Oh my
executing your plays
God.
and playing clean.
That is one thing that does worry me about Tulane. Finishing the red zone is not a strong suit for the Green Wave at all. They normally leaving
Yeah,
out with field goals,
and
which
you ain't gonna
scares me.
beat the mean green with
No,
threes.
no. That does scare me. That does scare me. But if you can get a couple turnovers and keep North Texas out the end zone or keep the ball, another way to beat a great offense is clock control. If you can control the clock against a terrible rush defense, that is also very good. But yeah, finishing the red zone is not the strongest suit of Tulane. But we'll move on to the last game tonight. We have the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Now, I did predict this game in the preseason. I predicted UNLV and Boise State to be the Mountain West Conference Championship game. And I did have Boise State being the home team in this one. So, by the way, for all the games tonight, there is no neutral site. They're all at the homes of the number one team in the conference. So, there's no neutral site again. But I did predict this one in the preseason, so I do kind of feel proud of myself for getting this right. And I will say it took a lot of luck because I thought New Mexico kind of ruined that. They had a great season out of nowhere. They went from not being able to stop San Jose State to just all of a sudden not being stopped themselves. They went kind of unstoppable after that game. Shout out to them. Shout out Keegan Johnson. Great year by him. He was one of the best receivers in the Mountain West. But we got to talk about Dan Mullen and the boys. It's funny. Dan Mullen leaves Florida. I think they were playing for an SEC title when Dan Mullen was there. Then they went to the pits. And now Dan Mullen this is his first job since being fired from Florida. And UNLV is in the Mountain West Conference Championship game yet again. Now, this is a rematch of last year. Boise State won 21-7 last year in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Ashton Genty. I don't even think he had that crazy of a game in the championship. I think he did in the regular season, but in the championship, I don't think he had that crazy of a game.
No.
UNLV is definitely looking to get back on that one. Now, two of their best players are questionable, and that's Jaden Thomas and Jaden Bradley. Both of them are questionable in this game. Bradley, the receiver, Jaden Thomas is the running back, but they're led by my guy, and you know Ace. I be telling
Baby
Ace about
Brett
my
Favre.
guy. Chill out, bro. Chill. He is not like a Brett Favre though. He will throw them
I boy
things.
be slinging it, man. I ain't gonna lie.
He will throw them picks. Anthony
Somebody
Calandria,
down
man.
there.
Anthony Calandria is in the conference championship game, man. He went 238 of 349, 3,050 yards, 22 touchdowns. But like my boys say, he will throw them things. He got 8 interceptions on the year. But he does have 555 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns to add on to that. Jaden Thomas, like I said, he's questionable. 127 carries, 944 yards, and 12 touchdowns for the running back. And Jaden Bradley, the wide receiver, who has 51 catches, 834 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the year for the receiver. Now, my impact player, who's not questionable, is Marcel McDuffie, because Boise State is going to be running the football. And at linebacker, he is the guy that makes the plays. He flies around the field. He's going to be at the quarterback this defense and set up 3rd and longs for the UNLV defense to try to get off the field, because they do have a problem getting off the field. That is an issue with the UNLV defense, getting off the field. He's going to have to get them to get off the field. You got an impact player for me for UNLV.
Yeah, my impact player is actually Marcel McDuffie as well, because
That's
like
crazy.
you said, they have to stop the run. If they have to stop the run, they have to limit the explosives through the run. You know, because we all saw the last game. They lost by more than 20 points, or maybe 30
It was
points.
the second half. It was the second
Yeah,
half.
you know what I mean? It's like you guys know what you have to do to go out there. You have to limit these things. But I don't think that Maddox Madsen playing helps them in any kind of way. I think it makes the job harder. Like I think UNLV is a fun team. I think that, you know, for the conference that they're in, they are definitely one of the better teams, and it's been nice to see them rising over the last few years. Even having Justin Flo on the kickoff team, you know what I mean? He's bringing energy, and you know where he was a couple of years ago and how people were hyping him up.
Arizona. Yep.
Yeah, Oregon too, I
Oregon.
think.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate how his career ended up coming, but even still, you still see he brings it even with what he's doing, and that's something that you gotta appreciate. And I do like that about them, but I don't think it's enough, man.
All right, we'll save it. We got UNLV offensively, first in the conference in scoring, first in total offense, second in rushing, third in passing. But defensively in the conference, they're seventh in scoring, ninth in total defense, 11th in rushing, and 10th in passing. Just the complete opposite on the defensive side of the ball. We'll move on to Boise State, who's led by Madison Maddox, who will be back for this game. He has missed a month, I believe, due to injury, but he is back. He went 152 or 255, 1,994 yards, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Duke Riley took over the backfield with 164 carries, 1,016 yards, and 10 touchdowns. And Latrell Caples, who was on that team last year that won the Mountain West, 43 catches, 515 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the receiver. Now, for the impact player for me, I went to Sire Gaines. He's going to have to be that other guy coming into the game, and I believe he was the one that killed them in the first game. But he's going to have to be the other guy. When Duke Riley gets tired, he's going to have to keep that running back spot afloat, getting big plays, because like I said, UNLV defense is not good against the run. So I think Sire Gaines, with his 144 carries, 731 yards, and 7 touchdowns, is the impact player for me for Boise State. Who is your impact player for Boise State?
Yeah, my impact player for Boise State is actually Dylan Riley. I think he went for over 200 yards the last time these teams met, and I think he has to replicate that same kind of performance in order for it to be a win with no kind of or a win similar to the last game. Now, granted, I think that's going to happen? Not necessarily. I think UNLV will make some adjustments and do some things to try to limit those explosive plays that happened in the last game. However, I do think that like you said, their rush defense is not that great, and you can't change things overnight.
Definitely can't, man. And here's some numbers for the Boise State side of the ball. They're third in scoring, second in total offense, third in rushing, and fifth in passing. Or being fifth in scoring defense, third in total defense, eighth in rushing defense, third in passing defense. So really a balanced team there. My winner in this one. Now, if you remember my preseason show, I had this being the conference championship with UNLV getting revenge. And unlike the American Athletic Conference, I'm not dying with the ship. I'm taking Boise State. I'm sorry. I just can't with this defense. If Max Cutforth would have been the starting quarterback, I may have died with the ship and took UNLV. But I just can't with this rushing attack being the complete chess piece for this UNLV defense, go with UNLV. I just can't do it. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. And I come on this joint, like I told you on the preseason, I do that 1,000%. But I can't go against Boise State in this matchup. It just seems like Boise State is the style of fight that UNLV does not want to fight. And I think that they win this game. But I will say this, a big pick six in the second half by Amarion McCoy did swing the game. Amarion McCoy is out with an injury, so maybe Calandria don't throw that huge pick six, and maybe things change, but I'm going with Boise State. Ace, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Boise State, man. I mean, they won the last 10 games between these two teams, and it's for a reason. It's definitely a difference in styles, and it speaks volumes on the results in the field.
Yeah, I just think they just had a better defense. Maybe I can go with that exciting offense, but I just can't.
Or a tougher defense. I don't know, man.
That too. I think Boise State is going to dominate them in the trenches.
Yeah, it feels very much I don't want to say cutesy, but you know how it is with these teams who kind of air it out and they spread it out. Like you can't bang, and you got to bang when it gets to this point in the season, especially if you're going to go to Idaho and play in 20-degree weather.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
it's definitely at Boise
State.
State.
Gonna work.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. Like UNLV is like a finesse team, and you need a little bit more power against Boise State, and that finesse ain't gonna work.
1,000%.
So yeah, I wanted to die with the ship, man, but I can't. I just can't. I can't do it. I got to take Boise State. Shout out to Joe in the comments. Shout out to the two college football goats. Appreciate you, my boy, for watching. That is all the games we got for Friday. We got to move on into Saturday. And the first game for Saturday I have here is the Big 12 Championship, which is a rematch of another regular season game. So this is the second rematch of the year. We have BYU, who's 11th in the country. This is basically a home game. They're playing at Arlington Stadium. Texas Tech really plays here. They have some neutral site games here. It's not that far. It's in Fort Worth. Going against the 4th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders, 12 o'clock on ABC. Now BYU, I love Coach Sataki, man. I'm so glad he's staying. He just fits BYU so much. And it's not that I don't want him to leave and level up. I just feel like he fits perfectly for BYU. And like, gone are the days where coaches coach at a university for 30 years and retire. I kind of want that back in college football. I'm not gonna lie. So I love the
I think
fact,
if you have a chance with anybody, it might be him.
yeah, so
Just,
that's what I'm saying.
just
He's
because
like
of
keeping
like
hope
the
alive. He's keeping hope alive, and I love that for Coach Ataki. I love the fact that they're paying him off with a Big 12 championship appearance.
sure.
They
He
had a
deserves it.
chance last year. That they lost like what? They lost that Arizona State game, which was huge. That was I remember that game. That was a crazy controversy at the end. But BYU, they're led by freshman quarterback Bear Bachmeier, who that first name fits him very well when he's running the football.
sure.
208 of 322, 2,593 yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, with another 525 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground by him. LJ Martin, who was on the team last year, running back with 217 carries, 1,229 yards and 11 touchdowns. And I have Chase Roberts and Parker Kingston on the receiver and 57 catches, 713 yards and 5 touchdowns for Chase Roberts, who I think should be playing on Sundays, and Parker Kingston with 57 catches, 804 yards on 5 touchdowns, who could potentially play on Sundays. My impact player, I went to the offensive side of the ball here. I went to Carson Ryan, the tight end, because I feel like BYU is going to need more firepower to beat this Texas Tech team. Somebody's going to have to give them some type of juice against this defense, and I think the tight end position is probably where they need to get it from. 35 catches, 472 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the year from him. So I think Carson Ryan needs to step up in this game for them to have a shot because, man. You got an impact player for me for BYU?
Yes, and my impact player is Bear Bachmeier. I think in the last time that these teams played, it was, I think, the first big game in his career. And granted, he didn't play horribly, but the interception at an untimely time, they weren't able to convert third downs as well as they have earlier in the season, which led to basically a 20-point loss. And it looked like BYU, it almost looked like BYU didn't belong on the same field as Texas Tech. However, I've watched BYU for many, many years. You know what I mean? And BYU has always been one of those teams that's always just been this close. You know what I mean? They just needed a person here or a person there to take them over the hump. And I think that, like you said, the coach that they have, they play hard for him. Just the momentum of this program, it's leading up to a Big 12 championship. Now, do they get it tomorrow? I can't say. But I do think that Bear Bachmeier will have a way better game than he had in the first go around.
Yeah, I love those 2 cornerbacks they have, Alexander and I'm blanking on the other one name on the outside. They ball. I love them cornerbacks on the outside for BYU. But yeah, I want to say that first game. I say it didn't look like they belonged to be on the field with Texas Tech. I'll come out and say it, man. They couldn't convert third downs at all, no matter what down the distance. Texas Tech, once they got going, it was just a wrap. And I do think this. I say this. Well, I'll keep that for the end. So we'll move on. I'll save that for the end of this segment. But we'll move on to the Texas Tech. Oh, excuse me. I got some numbers for BYU. My fault. 3rd in scoring. This is in conference. 6th in offense, total offense. 2nd in rushing and 9th in passing. While defensively, they're 2nd in scoring defense, 3rd in total defense, 3rd in rushing defense, and 7th in passing defense. So that is the BYU Cougars. We'll move on to Texas Tech, led by Baron Morton, who came back last year, who this year went 181, 267, 2,428 yards, 20 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He has been dealing with injuries here and there on the year. They're led in the backfield by Cam Dickey, the running back who is fast. 180 carries, 1,023 yards, and 13 touchdowns, and Caleb Douglas on the receiver end with 53 catches, 823 yards, and 7 touchdowns. They also got guys like Reggie Virgil and Coy Aiken who makes big plays as well. Now, my impact player, I'm assuming, is probably going to be the same as yours. I went with Jacob Rodriguez on the defensive end at the linebacker spot. He's just everywhere. He's everywhere. He makes every play, basically. He's a quarterback. He puts people in position. And, I mean, I don't think he should be in contention for the Heisman, but a lot of people think he does. So
in the conversation, I mean, he can be mentioned. You know what I mean? Look,
I'm
he
sorry,
makes a lot of plays.
I can't go for it.
He makes a lot of plays for them.
I can't go for it. I can't. Not with guys like Jeremiah Love balling like that, bro. I don't think it's a conversation. If anything,
I just said mention. I'm not saying he should be in New York, but if you want to talk with him about like being the 5th or 6th, you know what I mean?
Maybe I can go for that. But to me, if you're 5th or 6th in the Heisman, this ain't MVP. In the Heisman, I think you're cooked. Like, I don't think there's a conversation for you.
Oh yeah, nobody say he's winning.
Yeah,
that'd be ridiculous.
But
But he is a
let's.
great player
Yeah,
though.
I'm about to say,
Great
don't
player.
let that take away from the fact that I think he's a phenomenal player and he's going to play at the next level. And whoever gets him at the next level is going to get a stud. Don't let that take
They're
away
going to
from
be
that.
lucky.
Yeah,
They're
don't
definitely
let
going
that
to be
take away
lucky.
from that. But who's your impact player for Texas Tech?
I did want to go Jacob Rodriguez, but I actually went Caleb Douglas, the
Okay.
wide receiver, their leading wide receiver. Actually, I think that this Texas Tech team, we talk a lot about the defense, but we got to address the reality that this offense is really good. This offense can strike quickly. They have deep threats, and they are playmakers, and they can put up points fast. You know what I mean? Now, does that happen Saturday? It's up in the air. I don't think that they're going to be able to control. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it is in their other games. However, in order for them to, I think, establish control in this game, they have to get up and they have to get up early because, granted, yes, BYU came back from 14 points down last year. I mean, last week versus UCF, but that was UCF.
That's usually happening. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Texas Tech get up 14, oof, I don't
It's
know,
over
man.
with. It's over
Because
with.
you got to have Bear Bachmeyer able to run. You know what I mean? The last game, Bear Bachmeyer, he averaged just 1 yard per carry.
Yeah.
So if they can do something similar like that and put up points, it might get ugly.
Yeah, it's. Let me get to these numbers and then pick a winner, and then I'll talk because I feel like I'm kind of be spoiling my pick. But this is how dominant Texas Tech has been in the Big 12 this year. First in scoring offense, first in total offense, third in rushing, second in passing offense, first in scoring defense, first in total defense, first in rushing defense, while being fourth in passing defense. And that's probably because they shut you down so much running the ball and taking the lead. You got to pass to get back into the game.
Hmm. Yeah.
But honestly, I'm going with Texas Tech to win the Big 12, man. And I tell y'all right, I'm taking the minus 12 and a half. I just think this team is too much. I do. And it's unfortunate that BYU has its best team I didn't see in quite some time. And
Hmm.
Texas Tech is dead strong. Like normally the Big 12, it's not somebody. Well, I'll take that back because normally they have Texas, Oklahoma, and they're kind of strong. But they ain't this strong. Like Texas Tech is. Drop them in the SEC, they might be competing for a title. Drop them in the ACC, they're in this
winning.
ACC championship. Yeah, they win the
Yeah.
ACC championship. Drop them in the Big 10, they're in the conversation
Yeah.
probably for a Big 10 championship. Like you could
For
drop this
sure.
Texas Tech team, in my opinion, in any conference, and they're competing for a conference title. And that's just unfortunate for the BYU Cougars. It doesn't take it away how good I think this BYU team is. Like I do think where they are placed in the conference championship. I would hate it if I'm BYU. We go 11-1 and we're still on the outside looking in. That's kind of crazy, but that's the Big 12 for you. They don't really respect it. Yeah, I'm going Texas Tech, man. I just think they're too dominant. They're too top heavy. Like it's not one thing I think Texas Tech does not do well. And
Yeah.
people say, well, it don't look the same on the road as they do at home. They're in AT&T Stadium. Like this is basically home for them. So give me Texas Tech.
Literally. Yeah, man. And people forget that one loss on their record, their starting quarterback didn't even play. You know,
Yeah, Will Hammond lost. They lost to Arizona State on the road.
Arizona State, yeah. And that was a
What,
4 point loss.
I think that was what Jordan Tyson went crazy that game or something like that. Well, what game he don't
Yes,
go crazy, but
yes. I believe it was something akin to that. But look, I do like you said. I like BYU. I think BYU is. I think this is one of the best teams they've ever had for sure. But unfortunately, this is definitely the best team Texas Tech has
Texas
ever
Tech.
had. You know what I mean? Like if
It's very
BYU could play
unfortunate.
clean, if they can win, like win in the red zone, if they can exploit like that aggressiveness that Texas Tech plays with screens and like maybe little trick plays and stuff like that, which I do think that they will do because they're good for that. You know what I mean? Like that's not their bread and butter, but it's not unheard of in that program. Like they have very smart coaches that they know how to exploit certain things that teams do. However, it's just not enough, man. It's not enough.
No.
Texas Tech is going to push the tempo. They're going to let Rodriguez cook. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then from like those two things alone kind of gets you the win. Like not to say that BYU is a slouch, but it's just I don't think BYU is going to be able to stop them from moving the chains consistently or stop the explosive plays. Like either way you want to do it. Like say BYU comes out fast and they get out to a fast lead. You think Texas Tech can't come back?
No,
You know
they're
what I
definitely
mean?
coming back.
Like yeah. So it's like okay, you may want to play the possession game. You want to you want to control the ball, but even still, even with that, like what if their defense cuts it on? all you need is 2 or 3 and outs, and you cook. Or it's back basically 0-0 if you up.
Yeah, I do
So
like the
it's
BYU
just too
defense.
much.
I like the BYU defense. I will say that. I do like the defense a ton. I think they fly around. I think they make plays. I just think that
Yeah.
up front, they might not just be big enough. I think Texas Tech up front is just too big for BYU.
Yeah, and they have a strong linebacker
Yeah,
core as well, BYU.
yeah,
But it's
they
like you got
do.
to pick your poison. You're gonna stop the run, or you're gonna stop the pass, or you're gonna play bend don't break. And I don't see either route working out for
Yeah, I
them,
think they do got to
unfortunately.
kind of like blitz Barry Morton. I think that may be a way of winning is trying to blitz him, but it's
Sure.
just I think BYU has to have one of them days where it just seems like it's your day for them to win. I
Hmm.
don't think if they play like a regular game of football, Texas Tech plays a regular game of football where it's not like a ton of breaks and it's just like these are just this is how these two teams play. Just think
Right.
Texas Tech is too good.
Agreed.
So we'll move on from the Big 12 to some action. We got the MAC championship game preview. We got Miami of Ohio, in spite of Daquan Finn taking off early for the NFL draft, which I still don't understand why he did that. Taking on Western Michigan, who's a surprise team here. Not a lot of people, including myself, thought they would be here at the top of the year, but they are here and they're looking hungry for a MAC championship game. They actually come into this one as 1.5-point favorites. This is like one of the few neutral site games we have with Kalamazoo is what? Probably 2 hours away from Detroit. Miami of Ohio, I think that's kind of like, I don't think that's that far either. So I'll say this is a neutral site game because depending on where it is in Ohio, I want to say it's kind of like the Toledo-ish area. I'm not sure though. It's not that far. If it's Toledo-ish area, it actually might be closer, but that's neither here nor there. They come into this one's 1.5-point favorites. The game is 12 o'clock on ESPN this tomorrow. Excuse me. Now for Miami of Ohio, they went to Henry Hessen. He looked terrible. So they went to the young guy, Thomas Kiskowski, and he got some moxie, man. I kind of like what I saw out of the young guy. He went 25 of 47, 411 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Unlike Henry Hessen, oh my God, 3 picks, no touchdowns his first game. But we move on. They also have Jordan Brunson, running back in the backfield, 141 carries, 665 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Cam Perry, who's a big play guy at the receiver position, 35 catches, 865 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, my impact player for the Miami of Ohio Redhawks is Adam Trick, the defensive end, who has 8.5 sacks. I think he's going to be key. Now, Western Michigan loves to run Brock Lowry. He leads them both passing and rushing, but he on passing downs has to get to the quarterback with his 8.5 sacks. So I think he'll be big for the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Who is your impact player? Give me 1 second.
So because Daquan Finn is not playing, which I agree with you, is kind of like weird. I want to say the quarterback. I don't know what the name is, unfortunately, but
It's
I think that
Guzkowski.
that very white sounding name is he's going to have to be their play. But I think really I don't have a key player for them necessarily, but I do have a key tactic for them.
Okay, I'd love to hear that. I'm before that.
They have to make the game ugly. They have to make
I
it
don't
ugly.
know,
It's
bro.
got
Because
to
I
be in
feel like Western.
turnovers, man.
I can feel that. I can feel that. I just feel like Western Michigan plays in ugly games too, but I can feel that. Turnovers definitely help you.
Yeah, they definitely do, because I'm sure Western Michigan will rather keep it low scoring just because of how Brock Lowry can run the ball and how such of a dual threat he is. Spoiler alert, impact player. But you know what I
Okay.
mean? I just don't see how Miami can win otherwise. But in their first matchup, Daquan Fence, his legs, his mobility is what even kept them in it. You know, so it's just like when you don't have that, it's like what can you do now? And I understand it's even, like, but I don't know, man. I think Western Michigan has the momentum. I think they have like the juice, and I think that they may just be the slightly better team coming in there.
Yeah, so some numbers, which these are, I would more so pay attention to the defensive numbers than the offensive numbers. Again, with Finn just taking off, they're third in scoring offense, fifth in total offense, sixth in rushing offense, and sixth in passing. While third in scoring defense, third in total defense, second in rushing defense, and seventh in pass defense. Which being second in rushing defense is huge going against Western Michigan and their rushing attack. I do think this Miami of Ohio defense is really good, but I do think at times it kind of gets exploited, but that's coming with being on the field a ton when you're going 3 and out, or when Henry Hesson was playing, throwing 3 interceptions in a ball game. So I think if they can find a way to not be on the field, or continuously putting that defense on the field, that'll go well for Miami of Ohio. Now we have Western Michigan, again, led by Brock Lowry, who is 146 of 230, 1,572 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the air, with 875 rushing yards and 14 rushing touchdowns on the ground. Jalen Buckley also in the backfield, 152 carries, 636 yards, and 6 touchdowns for the Western Michigan running back. Now, I know you said that Brock Lowry is your impact player. I went with Nadame Tucker, who has 12 sacks and 4 forced fumbles on the year. For him, I think he's the impact player. Same thing. Getting to the quarterback. I put the 4 forced fumbles because maybe he can get the ball out while getting a sack against Gostkowski. And if you can maybe rattle a young guy, make a plays in the backfield, getting sacks, I think that'll go well for Western Michigan. Just expand a little bit on your impact player since we know who he is.
Yeah, Brock Lowry, he's a great dual threat. He's, it's a rush-heavy offense, and he's actually the leading rusher on this team. So I think, that physical ground control identity will give them, a much better chance of winning the game. Like I said, because of their play style, they want to keep a low scoring. They want to win field position. And I think if they can stop the running backs for Miami of Ohio, they'll have a great chance of, doing what they have to do.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
It's just a mix of, doing what your best players do well and then just trying to supplement it and complement it.
Yeah. Brock Lowry definitely is huge for this offense, like you said, leading them both passing and rushing. I watched it personally against Ohio, not Miami of Ohio, for those who may be confused. Yeah. That defense is something. I think this Western Michigan defense is going to be huge. Speaking of, they are second in scoring defense, second in total defense, third in rushing defense, and third in passing defense. So, like I said, this Western Michigan defense is being huge.
Miami of Ohio has a good red zone defense, if I'm not mistaken.
They have a good defense, period.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be one of those max slugfest for sure.
Yeah, every point is going to be a premium.
Absolutely,
it's going to be tough to get them.
Yeah, so, it could be one of those 18-15 kind of things going on.
21-14, 21-24, field goal to win it.
But I am kind of concerned that Miami of Ohio's offense is just going to stall, just because, granted, DeQuan Finn has been out for a while.
Gostkowski's got some moxie, man. I kind of like what I saw of the young guy. He's not DeQuan Finn, but he's better than Henry Hesson. So, Western Michigan, offensively, 7th in scoring, 8th in total offense, 2nd in rushing, 11th in passing. So that could be an issue of getting 3rd and longs. That may just be 3rd and long, might be punt. So that is an issue. But my winner, and a lot of people said that they shouldn't be favored, but I disagree. I'm going with Western Michigan. I'm going with that defense, and I think that Western Michigan puts up enough points to win the game. I think they rattle Gostkowski. I know I've been talking about how I like him. He got moxie. But I think this defense can get to him and rattle him. I don't think he's really went against a defense yet that's really put that pressure on him, lit that fire under him. So I don't know how let's see how he is when live bullets is really in his face. So I'm going to take Western Michigan in this one. Who you got?
I couldn't agree more. I think that, they need to pressure Gostkowski and limit Perry's deep threats to the wide receiver. If they dominate the trenches in the tempo, avoid red zone mistakes, they pretty much may be able to pull this out.
All right, cool. I'm just texting back Joe. I think Joe is not going to be able to make it. I just told him we got 3 games left. But we can move on. We can move on to the game that actually got their own slot, which just keep finding ways to meet ride the SEC, huh? SEC championship game. This game, like I said, is on slot, 4:00 ABC. No other game is on during this time period, so you don't have to be watching a multi-view or flipping channels. You can just stay locked in. Georgia, basically a home game for them. It's at the Mercedes-Benz, which is in Atlanta, so not that far of a drive. Now I get Bama's not that far either, but it's home state, this is a home game. Anyway, they're 2.5-point favorites in this neutral site game against Bama. Now, Bama has won the last matchup. They won the last few matchups against Kirby Smart. This game is 4:00 on ABC tomorrow. Now, for Georgia, they're obviously led by Gunnar Stockton, who I wasn't really the biggest fan of. I don't want to say wasn't. Still not really sold. But he has played better as the season progressed. So I will give him that. Gunnar Stockton is 231, 329, 2,535 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 403 rushing yards, and 8 rushing touchdowns. Nate Frazier, 145 carries, 809 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Zachariah Branch at receiver, 68 catches, 691 yards, and 4 touchdowns at the receiver spot. But my impact player, I funny enough, went offense in this game. I went London Humphreys. I think London Humphreys is going to have to step up in this game and provide another threat. I think he's going to have to work to get open, whether it's zone, finding a hole in the zones. And I think London Humphreys is a speedy enough and smart enough receiver to do so. So I think him up in his offensive production is going to be big for the Bulldogs. Who's your impact player for Georgia?
Mine is actually Zachariah Branch. He's their top receiving threat, and his production honestly hasn't been great this year. I mean, he's made plays here and there, but when you saw Zachariah Branch transfer to Georgia, you thought, okay, they're bringing in a guy who's going to help that struggling wide receiver group and basically just passing offense in general over the past few years. Like, they haven't been to the standard that we have seen this Georgia team play over the last, I guess, 7 to 8, maybe 10 years or so. Okay, 10 years might be gassing it, but definitely
I
like
get what you're
7 to 8.
saying.
But yeah, I believe that they need him to go because I mean Gunnar Stockton is okay. He's not a world beater, but he is somebody who can play within the offense, and as long as he doesn't make stupid mistakes, everything is good. But he also needs a lot of help from those receivers. They don't get separation very greatly in the SEC that is very, very corner heavy and a lot of great corners on a bunch of different teams. Granted, they have been winning and they've been able to pull it out, but you need an extra bump this game. This is the SEC championship, and Bama always comes to play.
Yeah. I will say that I think part of Zachariah Branch is, I don't want to say struggles because it's not struggles, but him not living to what we may think of him as the player he is. I think that's due to some of quarterback play and due to maybe play calling and the fact that he's at Georgia and they're like super run heavy. So
Yeah.
we've seen Zachariah Branch and we think of USC Zachariah Branch, especially his freshman year when he had so many explosive plays.
Yeah, crazy.
And
People thought he was the Anthony Thomas again or something.
yes. And I mean to be real, like Lincoln Riley ain't in Athens, Georgia. So like you're not probably going to get the Zachariah Branch full potential there, but I think Branch, for where he is, had a pretty solid season. But let's get into some numbers. So Georgia, they are currently 7th in scoring offense, 7th in total offense, 4th in rushing offense, and 11th in passing offense. So it's not really great. 3rd in scoring defense, however, 4th in total defense, 2nd in rushing defense, and 7th in passing defense. So a solid defense, not really great in terms of Georgia's standard. Again, let me say that again. For Georgia's standard, before somebody say second, third, that's second, third, fourth, that's really great. For Georgia's standard, being a 7th ranked passing defense is not good. And to be honest, on that D line, there's nobody that like flashes to me like of a Jalen Walker or a Michael Williams, of the recent Georgia elk. There's nobody on that D line that flashes to me. So we'll move on to Bama, who's led by Ty Simpson, who to me had played great through 10 weeks, but these last 3 weeks it's been a little shaky, especially the Oklahoma game. He's 256 of 389, 3,056 yards, 25 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Now, Jan Miller is, I think, questionable to play in this game. Alabama can't run the ball at all. They're 123rd, and he has 123 carries, 493 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Jeremy Bernard, who's quite clearly been the best receiver for Bama, he's 51 catches, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. Now, my impact player is Caden Proctor and that O-line. So I'm going to just say Caden Proctor is the player, but that O-line needs to come to play because you have to establish the run against this Georgia team. You cannot be one-dimensional. Granted, Georgia's pass defense ain't the greatest, but you can't be one-dimensional against a Georgia Bulldogs team. So y'all have to establish some type of the run. So I'm picking the O-line. Who's your impact player?
My impact player was Jan Miller, just to piggyback off of like what you're saying, that they have to be able to run the ball. But if he isn't out, then I would say that maybe it's Ryan Williams because this is a guy who has not stepped up throughout this whole year. He's been very hyped up. He was on the cover of College Football 26 and all these other things. People thought that he would come out and he would just basically be like the SEC version of Jeremiah Smith, not in terms of how they play, but their impact. And what's his name? Jeremy Bernard is definitely their best wide receiver weapon, and that's great. But Ryan Williams needs to step it up, and I don't think that Alabama will be able to play to their potential if he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I've been saying it on the show. He needs to get out of his own head. He's just been in his own head. I don't know why. I don't know I have no explanation. But he's just been in his own head, and he needs to get out of it. He's a good player. I do think that there were some freshman receivers, and I said this to you in the group chat multiple times. Do think it was other guys like Jordan Tyson, who's not a freshman. He was a redshirt freshman, but still saying. Cam Coleman, Nick Marsh were guys that didn't get talked about as much as Ryan Williams, but were of the same ilk as Ryan Williams, in my opinion. But we'll get into some numbers here. Bama was 5th in scoring offense, 8th in total offense, 13th in rushing offense. Again, that's in the SEC. 4th in passing offense. While 2nd in scoring defense, 3rd in total defense, 8th in rushing defense, and 1st in passing defense. Now, I told y'all before, I'm dying with the ship. And I picked Bama in the preseason to be the SEC champion. Now, although I had them beating Texas, I still had them winning. I'm rolling with Bama, man. It's not the smartest pick with, the inability of running the football and how this offense have looked of late. But I'm down with the ship, man. I'm going with the ship. And I'm also going to bank on the fact that Kalen DeBoer is 2-0 against Kirby Smart. And Bama of recently has beating Georgia, including that SEC championship win. What was that, 2 years ago with the 4-man in the playoff, where people thought Bama would lose to Georgia, and Bama did beat Georgia in that SEC championship of 2023. So I'm going to roll with Bama, man. I'm going to roll with them. Hopefully I don't die on the ship. Hopefully I live, baby. Who you got?
I'm not mad at the Bama pick, to be honest. I mean, I think this is a game where it can really go either way. These teams are very familiar with each other. This coaching staff is familiar with each other, and it's a coin flip for real, but I gotta go Georgia, man. Partly because I want Bama to get the brakes beat off them, as well as BYU.
I get
to
you.
help
I
us,
get
but
you.
you know what I'm saying?
I get you. It's for
I don't think I
Miami.
need to
feel
explain any further.
Yeah, I get you. I do feel it. I'm like I said, I'm down with the ship. I'm hoping that Kalen DeBoer can give me one more this year against Kirby Smart. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, that Bama Georgia game, this is a rematch. Bama jumped out. And thank God they did, because if they didn't jump out as early as they did, Georgia would have won that game. They clawed their way back into it, had a chance late to try to take the lead. That 4th down to Cash Jones did not work out. And Bama and Georgia made plays for Bama to win, because Georgia had, the dude that jumped on the pile late in the 4th quarter, stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's why I say Georgia did make plays for Bama to win that game. So, and shout out to, if I butcher this, I'm sorry, Marsha Dude 2405. Georgia should take it. Bama owns Kirby, though. I do feel like Bama owns Kirby. Like I said, I'm down with the ship, though, bro. So shout out to you for listening. We got 2 more games left. The night games are tomorrow, and we're going to start with the Big Ten championship game, which is basically a home game for Indiana. The game is always in Indianapolis. Bloomington is not that far. We actually looked it up. Ace it was like an hour away. So, hey, all y'all can meet at Bloomington, meet at the stadium, ride up to the game. But we got the Big Ten championship game. Who would have thought that Indiana would be 2nd in the country, undefeated, playing for a Big Ten title, going against the number 1 ranked? I don't know why this joint keep going off. Ohio State. Oh, is this set on a timer? It is set on a timer. I don't know why that is. And I don't know how to change it. How did I do this? Anyway, Ohio State is number 1 in the country after beating Michigan for the first time in 5 years. I think I got it off the timer now. And now save. All right, my bad. Technical difficulties. We good. Where was I? Ohio State number 1 in the country, beating Michigan for the first time in 5 years, playing for a Big Ten title. Now we're gonna start with Indiana. Y'all know me, man. I've been a big Signetti guy. Ace has too, actually. Ace was also the guy with me as the Signetti guy. I wanted him at MSU. We got Pat Fitzgerald now, so I'm cool. But
we were early on the train. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure.
Back in them JMU days, we were in the chat. We was going. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. That was a great train. We was on them every week.
We definitely was, man. Indiana led by Fernando Mendoza. 200. I do have to address this real quick. Y'all aren't castaways. I don't want to say that you're a castaway. He said, "Look at these castaways, playing for a Big Ten title game." You played at Cal last year.
They're not castaways. No.
Now the guys that came with him from JMU possibly considered castaways, but you played at Cal last year, my good brother. You played at a Power 5 school.
Literally.
I digress. 211, 253, 2,558 yards, 32 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 6 rushing touchdowns to add on to that. Roman Hemby, the transfer from Maryland, upgraded once you left Maryland. Shots at Tomo. 163 carries, 866 yards, 6 touchdowns for the running back. And I went with Elijah Surratt at receiver. I think he's the best receiver on the team. 48 catches, 650 yards, 11 touchdowns. Came from JMU. And Omar Cooper, 58 catches, 804 yards, and 11 touchdowns as well. But I think you could guess what my impact player is on the defensive side of the ball. It's D'Angelo Pons. I think he's going to be key in this game. Whether they
unsung hero.
Yeah, whether they man him up and double the other side, I think he's going to be huge. I almost went Aiden Fisher, I'm not going to lie. But I think D'Angelo Pons is going to be big in trying to take away one of these two receivers. Who's your impact player for Indiana?
My impact player for Indiana is actually Omar Cooper. I think that Indiana is going to have to find a way to keep this Ohio State great defense honest, specifically that linebacker core, and keep them off of Mendoza. You have to protect him, and he has to be able to stretch the field, because once the field gets shorter against that Ohio State defense, it gets suffocating, man. You saw what happened versus Michigan last week.
They was able to break off long runs, but when that, like you said, that field got short, they couldn't punch in nothing. And shout out to them for dominating Michigan. Absolutely.
Yeah, they needed to do that for sure.
I despise Michigan. We'll move on to Ohio State, who's led by Julian Sayin, who last week showed me something. I ain't gonna lie, he showed me something last week. 258 of 327, 3,065 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Bo Jackson, who, man, that kid is quick. He's pretty electric to watch. 151
Another
carries.
Great freshman.
Yes. 852 yards, 5 touchdowns, and the all-world receiver. Jeremiah Smith, 72 catches, 942 yards, 11 touchdowns, and Carnell Tate. I feel like you want to say D'Lo Pons an unsung hero. I think Carnell Tate's an unsung hero. 44 catches, 793 yards, and 8 touchdowns for him. Now, my impact player, I feel like you can guess mine too on the defensive side of the ball. R2L Reese. Wreaking havoc, playing everywhere on the defensive front seven. He can rush the quarterback, he can spy the quarterback, he can play middle backer. He plays everywhere, and I think he's going to be big rushing the quarterback, attacking Fernando Mendoza, and stopping the run of Roman Henry. So my impact player is R2L Reese for Ohio State. Who's yours?
My impact player is actually Bo Jackson. I think that Ohio State will need to be able to keep this very good Indiana defense on their toes. I think the key to winning this game is going to be what team is off balance the most, which team is the most unsure what the opponent is doing. And if Bo Jackson can run similarly to what he did last week, that's just going to open it up for more for Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Smith, or whichever one of those great Ohio State wide receivers just happens to get separation. And Julian Sayin, he's been pretty good, man. Like, you can't deny it. He's in the Heisman conversation for a reason.
Yeah, like I said, he showed me something last week, man. The ability to bounce back from that interception, which was a bad interception, and to play lights out from there in the snow.
And early.
Yeah, and Michigan wanted the snow. They was complaining, we want the snow, blah, 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 all that there. And he came out
Sounds
and
good.
performed. Yeah, he came out and performed, man. So definitely love that there for Julian Sayin. Now, some numbers for Ohio State. They are third in scoring offense in the Big Ten, fourth in total offense, seventh in rushing, and second in passing. While first in scoring defense, first in total defense, second in rushing defense, and first in passing defense. That defense with Matt Patricia has been lights out. Now, Indiana, I think I forgot their numbers. They were first in scoring offense, first in total offense, first in rushing offense, and fifth in passing offense in the Big Ten. And second in scoring defense, third in total defense, third in rush defense, and first in rush defense and fifth in passing defense in the Big Ten.
Sorry.
Now, my winner. This is tough because you know me, man. You know my slogan, don't bet against Ignetti. But what Ohio State showed me last week, man, I think they're the cream of the crop in the Big Ten. I'm going with Ohio State. It's tough for me to do this. But if Sayin is playing as well as he has been all year, Ohio State is tough to stop, even for a run at the Natty. So I'm taking Ohio State in a close one against Indiana. Even though Indiana's going to get back for how bad they got done last year. And a lot of them players weren't on that team. Give me Ohio State. Who you got?
Ohio State, man. Ohio State is the best team in the nation, hands down. I think Ohio State has 1,000% the best defense in the nation. And with the best defense and the offense like they have, with the potential that it can, with how great it can be, I mean, how can you really go against them? I love Chris Ignetti. I love the makeup of their team. I love how they play. I love their philosophy. I think that if they were in any other conference, they'd be a shoo-in to win it no matter what, no doubt. But this Ohio State team is pretty different, and I understand that they may not have the hardest schedule in the world, but who cares? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter when they can dominate the way that they do. It's just it's not written in stone, but man, it's very very clear that this team is a cut above the rest.
Yeah, man. I think, and again, no knock to Indiana. I just think this Ohio State team is
No,
kind of
not at
different.
all.
I think that
Yeah,
it's kind of different with saying playing the way he's playing. So
yeah, it really has nothing to do with Indiana is doing, to be honest.
yeah,
Indiana is doing everything that they could possibly do. Indiana is playing great. Indiana is going to make a deep run in the college football playoff. However, will they
agreed.
be Big Ten champion? I doubt it.
Like, to be honest, this is the same as I feel about BYU. Like, this is the best Indiana team ever. You just ran
Yeah,
against a buzzsaw.
yeah, exactly.
It's just
The
unfortunate.
unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yeah, it's just very unfortunate. And the last game for the night we got for y'all, the ACC championship, which this is also on a timer. Oh my god, hold on, I gotta take this off. Why? How does this on a timer? We got the ACC championship in another rematch, mind you.
Right.
The heck is going on? There we go. Duke at Virginia, well, not at Virginia, excuse me. Duke versus Virginia, which this game is in Charlotte, so this is kind of like a home game for Duke. I'm pretty sure it's not
Pretty
that far.
much.
Pretty sure it's not that far from Duke, what Duke is. This is a rematch of Virginia is a straight dominating Duke at home. Like, Duke was at home, and that game wasn't
Badly.
even close. I don't care about them 2 late game, fourth quarter touchdowns. That game was not close. It was Chandler Moore's first game back from concussion, and they just dominated. Now, Duke, happy to be here. If you're Duke, they're led. My apologies. This game is 8:00 tomorrow on ABC. Virginia's 3.5-point favorites. They're led by Darian Mensah, the transfer from Tulane, 286, 424, 3,450 yards, 28 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So, I mean, investment well paid. Nate Shepard, who stepped up this year, like came out of nowhere, running back with 157 carries, 865 yards, and 9 touchdowns. He basically took Anderson Castle's job. And Cooper Bearcat, receivers, 63 catches, 978 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, my impact player is Samir Hagins. The other receiver is 35 catches, 432 yards, and 6 touchdowns, because they're going to need a ton of firepower. Their defense is not going to stop Virginia, in my opinion. So they're going to have to win a shootout, and Samir Hagins is going to be big in a type of shootout environment. So I want Samir Hagins. Who's your impact player?
My impact player is Cooper Bearcat for a lot of the same reason that you were saying. This is going to be a high scoring game. Duke can put up points, but Virginia can also put up points, and Duke is going to have to be able to keep up in order to have a chance to even win this.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Duke is second in scoring offense in the ACC, 5th in total offense, 10th in rushing offense, and 1st in passing offense in the ACC. Wow, get this. 14th in scoring defense, 14th in total defense, 12th in rushing defense, and 14th in passing defense in the ACC. Not good at all. Literally. Now, Virginia, they're led by Chandler Morris, which, by the way, before I say anything, I apologize, University of Virginia. If you go back to my preseason show about the ACC, I said there was no way y'all have 7 wins on this schedule. I had y'all, I think, at like 4, if that. And y'all won 10. So I apologize, my good Virginia brother. I was wrong, and salute Coach Elliott. But back to the game. I just had to get my apologies out the way because I was wrong. Chandler Morris, 230, 358, 2,586 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions with 5 rushing touchdowns. He just wins where he goes. He was winning at North Texas last year. He goes to Virginia. He's doing the same thing. He's just winning. Now, I will say TCU was not great. Not at all. He lost his job to Max Duggan. They went to the national championship. But since then, he's been great. Jamari Taylor, running back, dog, 207 yards, 207 carries, 997 yards, 14 touchdowns, and Trell Harris, the receiver, 56 catches of 809 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, my impact player, who is also probable, is Maddox Marcellus, replacing Cam Robinson, who was an all-ACC linebacker. He's out for the year, and I think his production while replacing one of their best players on that defense will be huge because this Virginia defense was pretty nice. So he has big shoes to fill. Who's your impact player?
Mine is actually Jamari Taylor. I think he needs to have a similar performance as he did in their first matchup. Over 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. As long as he does that, excuse me, keeps this offense balanced. Virginia is pretty much going to have their way against Duke because, like was mentioned earlier, Duke's defense is not that great, and I don't think that they're really going to be able to stop UVA, but maybe once or twice.
Yeah, agreed. Virginia, they're fourth in scoring offense, third in total offense, third in rushing, and 11th in passing offense in the ACC, while second in scoring defense, third in total defense, fifth in rushing defense, and sixth in passing defense in the ACC. And with that being said, I'm taking Virginia to win, and I don't think it's close. This -3.5 line is actually very confusing to me. Surprising line is not as big, maybe because the game was in Charlotte, but I think Virginia easily wins this game, man. The Duke defense is not good, and that's not of the past couple of years. With even with Mandy last year and Elko in years prior, normally the defense is the strong suit of Duke, but it's the complete opposite. And I think Virginia does a good job against Darian Mensah and the boys. I just think Virginia wins this. Who you got?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think Virginia wins it as well. I mean, the red zone efficiency, they have the advantage. They can rely on the defensive front and their secondary to kind of hamper down that Duke offense. They can control the tempo similarly to the first game. So they have very long drives. You know what I mean? Keep the Duke wide receivers in check. Stay clean on turnovers. I think that there's no reason that Virginia loses this. I think they get their first outright ACC championship. I commend Manny Diaz for making the ACC championship before Mario Cristobal. But I mean, I don't think that I just don't think that he has enough, unfortunately. And who's to say that Manny Diaz is well? Actually, no, he is going to be there next year because Penn State just hired.
They hired somebody.
Matt Campbell. If I'm not mistaken.
Wait, they was able to pull him away.
Let me see.
I thought they was trying
let me double
to.
check.
I thought they was trying to hire Matt,
but I know he was. I see something 3 hours ago on Fox News. Penn State to hire Matt Campbell as their next head coach. But I guess we should probably just wait to see.
That's crazy if they actually did it. We'll wait to see. But that'd be crazy.
Yeah, man, I would. That would. But yeah, man, I think it's cool that Duke made it. You know what I mean?
It's not.
It's all these semantics and this, that, and the third. But Duke didn't even win. Duke didn't even beat a team in our conference that had a winning record.
That's why I said it's not cool that they. Well, they beat Wake Forest.
A winning record in conference.
Wake Forest didn't have a winning record in conference.
I don't believe so. I don't think they beat anybody. But I could just be hating.
I think they did. I think Wake Forest had a winning conference record. They beat SMU, North Carolina. Virginia.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wake Forest had a winning conference record. And that's the first. Because of the Duke loss, though, they were 4-3 coming into that game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, man. I could go on about my feelings and all that stuff, but that's not what we're here for. Virginia is going to win, and that's going to be that.
Yes, sir. So that is all 9 of the games in conference championship week. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed the game. The shows. Ace, any final words before we end this episode? Could be about anything.
If anybody from the committee is watching this, we are better than Notre Dame. I think we're better than BYU.
Oh, God.
I think we are the 4th best team in the nation, and I think that we deserve to be in there. And, you know what I mean? Just check the stats, man. Yes, we had 2 unranked losses. They were about less than a touchdown. One was in overtime. Carson Beck had his worst game of the year versus Louisville. Yes, 4 picks is atrocious. It's bad. And yes, his picking at the end of the game versus SMU was bad, even though that was his best game to date. You know what I mean? It's just, look, the consensus around the nation is who's the best team in the ACC? It's the Miami Hurricanes.
It's y'all. I don't even
1,000%. Who's going to bring in the ratings? Who are people going to want to see? Who do you think is going to bring the best product on the field? I would rather
that last question is questionable because y'all do be finding ways to slum it at times.
Yeah,
but everything else I agree on.
Yes, at times. But how have we looked lately? You know what I mean? Yes, and I don't want to put
let you have your time.
Listen. I'm not about to put it on the bye weeks and all that stuff because it was after the bye weeks and it felt. Look, I just want to be in. Dang it. I want to be in. We should be in. We need to be in. I don't care if you got it. Like, let's play the 13th game. Give us Vanderbilt. Come on, man.
I
Like,
would
do
love to see it.
something.
I was
Do
excited when I
something.
saw that was a possibility. I
Bro,
would love to
if
see
we
it.
played Vandy, we would
Don't
dog
say
walk
it. Don't
Pavia.
say
We
it.
would
No,
dog
stop
walk
it.
Pavia.
Stop it.
No,
Stop
Pavia
it.
is.
Stop it.
I'm telling you, man. Where he gonna run? Where he gonna go?
Stop, bro.
Miller Moss had the best. Miller Moss had the best game of his life when they beat us. Miller Moss had looked like that since. Kevin Jennings had a great game. That's what you have to do in order to beat us. You have to play one of the
But you
best
questioning
games you ever gonna
Pavia
play.
not have a great game?
Bro, Pavia is okay. Like he's good. He's cool. I like him.
He's really good.
He's gonna have a great Canadian Football League career.
Chill out, bro, because he's gonna be a solid backup in the NFL. You're wilding. Chill out.
Buddy is going to Ottawa, and that is great.
Bro, if people
There's
Nathan
nothing wrong with
Peterman
that.
can have a successful backup NFL career, I think Diego Pavia will be just fine.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, man, just put us in and let's just see what happened, man. Let's just see what happened.
I mean, a lot of teams feel like
And if you don't put us in next year, I promise you, it's ugly for everybody.
I don't know. Look, man, I'm glad I gave you a platform to get that off because I know you've been holding that in for a while. You're wild and no fourth best team in the nation. You're absolutely wild.
My soul feels lighter. My soul feels lighter.
Fourth best team in the nation, though?
I could have said the first, but I was being humble.
No, you couldn't have.
Second.
No, you couldn't have. You couldn't have said first or second. Stop it. I would love to see. So hold on. So who's the three in front of you?
I mean, so how
we know
State's
one. I'm about to say we know
Indiana. I ain't gonna lie. I do think
don't do it.
Texas Tech might be
Thank
a little
you.
better than
Okay. Now I get you'll jump Ole Miss because Lane's not gonna be there, and honestly, Texas A&M had a weak SEC schedule, so I can even get you putting yourself over to them. But come Oklahoma.
Yes.
Offensively, they okay. I get you. I was about to say offensively they are terrible, but that defense is super elite.
Okay, sure. Yes.
You don't think that defense is causing Carson Beck to have a worse game than Louisville?
I think that if Oklahoma want to try lean on us, we can lean on them just as good.
I don't know. I think Carson Beck would look terrible against Oklahoma.
I think it definitely depends on how well we protect Carson Beck for sure. But I don't think that it's unreasonable to believe that they can.
I don't think. Okay, I'll agree there. But I think Carson will look bad against Oklahoma.
But Carson Beck at his worst is when he's overextending himself, when he's doing more than he needs to do.
He's going to have to against Oklahoma.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think we have a great rotation of 3 running backs who can bring different things to the table.
I do like your stable.
I think we have a great short passing. We have one of the best short passing games in the nation.
But they have a great secondary, and they have a great D line.
Sure, yes, but that's where all the screens and the quick passes. That's where that comes in.
I don't think that's the way to beat Oklahoma with gimmicky stuff like that.
It's not gimmicky though.
Yes, it is. If you're running a bunch of screens and short passes.
I'm not saying that's all we have to do, but I'm just saying, like, our offense is good enough that we're going to mix it up. We have plays that are deep shots. Yes, we are more of a pro-style offense than any. Yes, we are more of a pro-style offense. Sorry, that's the cat. We're more pro-style offense than anything else, but it's just like, I think that when it's athletes versus athletes, I don't think there's anybody in the nation. I don't think there's nobody in the nation that has athletes that are just that much better than ours. If it's athlete versus athlete, we damn near even with anybody.
Y'all have a shot, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Carson Beck against this Oklahoma defense.
Listen, man, Carson, lock in, Brainiac. You know what I'm saying? Lock in.
I don't know, bro.
Lock in, brother. Carson can lock in, man. He know what he got to do.
You're a good team, but Miami is a very great team, actually. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. We're a great team.
You are.
We're one of the best. We're one of the best.
I just thought fourth was crazy, but I just thought
they all say it.
But brother, I told you to start the year, and it don't change my mind. Carson Beck is the reason why I can't look at y'all as the way you want me to look at y'all.
Listen, man, I understand. I get it. I've had mediocre quarterback play for a long time. You know what I mean?
Like if y'all had Cam Ward with this team, I'd be like, y'all best team in the country.
Yeah,
Carson Beck holds y'all back that much. To me,
Look, man, yeah, sure. Like I've heard it all year. If that offense was with this defense, it'd be no burners up. Sure, but it ain't the case. It ain't the
and
case.
Mario
Hey,
Cristobal in the clutch scares me.
I think that Corey Heatherman is also. The other thing with the Oklahoma thing, I think that we will win the turnover battle.
I can see. No, I can't see that because Carson back. I can't do
No,
that.
no, we are going to listen. If John Mateer wants to run, he's going to get dog walk.
I
He's going
can
to end
see
up on
that.
that sideline.
I can see
Like
y'all defense playing good too. I
John
can.
Mateer is not going to play that game comfortably. Yes, Carson Beck may not be as comfortable, but John Mateer has to do a lot more than Carson Beck does, in my opinion.
I'll say normally yes, but against that defense, I'll say no. Like in normal situations, Miami versus somebody else, or Miami versus a regular opponent, yes. But against Oklahoma, no, I don't agree. I think
I
Carson
just
Beck
feel
actually
like
going to have to do more.
I just think we're more balanced. We're way more balanced
Y'all
on
are.
both sides of the ball, and
Y'all
I
are.
think that's just going to play to our advantage. You know what I mean? They not going to bully ball us. I don't think
No,
anybody in
I
the
don't.
nation can
I don't.
bully us.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, but Louisville didn't win by bully ball either. They won by Carson Beck throwing 4 picks, and SMU
E-
damn sure not bullying nobody. They won by
Yes,
Carson Beck throwing a pick in the clutch in the red zone in overtime.
yes, sure. But those are 2 games out of 10. You know
And
what I
I'll say this
mean?
too.
I get you.
I'll say this too.
The
Oklahoma
12.
have athletes on the outside, and open field tackling does seem like it is an issue at times for Miami.
Yes, it's not our strongest suit for sure. I could definitely say that 1,000% for sure.
Yeah.
But
So
shoot, man, maybe it's Malachi Day, man. You know who
hey,
knows?
that boy crazy. That boy
You know,
crazy. That boy
talk
crazy.
talk about somebody who should be in the Heisman race, but
Hey, I
whatever.
ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at you. I ain't. Hey, go off. He not
He
even a
should definitely,
Biletnikoff. He not even Biletnikoff award finalist, and that's
which
kind of
is
crazy.
which is which is
That's
crazy,
crazy.
because he has comparable stats to Jeremiah Smith,
Yeah,
Makai
I
Lemon,
mean,
whoever you want to throw in there,
it's Makai
and throwing
Lemon, it's
touchdowns.
Jeremiah Smith, and Skylar Bell.
Yeah, man, he has. Listen, next year they're gonna be all on him, but
Yeah, I think that's crazy. He's not a
it's all
Biletnikoff
good.
finalist,
It's all good.
but
He got to be freshman of the year, All American, not even freshman All American. That he gonna be on a lot of lists,
he is. I think
so
he is.
it don't
Is he
matter.
not All American? I know he's a freshman All American, but I thought I saw somewhere he is All American.
I don't know. Have they dropped the All American teams yet? I
I
know
don't
he was
know.
all ACC. He was all
Yeah,
ACC for sure.
for
He was all
sure.
ACC
He got to
receiver.
be an
Then the
All
second
American.
team,
He has
he
to
was
be.
second team all ACC, like athlete, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, he has to be an All American. He's had too crazy
Yeah,
of a
for
year.
sure,
And it's
for
not even
sure.
the year where like receivers going dumb like that. He has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna, man. It's gonna get scary, man. I'm telling you. Even if it ain't this year, we are trending in a very, very good direction. We got so much talent coming in on
Yeah,
both
Mario
sides of the
recruits.
ball.
Mario
I
recruits.
think, I think we got what's his name? The quarterback that we got coming in, Deion Thompson or something like that. A kid who ain't even throw an interception in high school this year,
Oh,
and
that's great.
he's like, yeah, he reminds me a lot of he reminds me a lot of in like from his stature and like the way he throws and things like that. He reminds me a lot of Kevin Jennings because he's not like the biggest guy. He's not super like broad, but the kid makes plays, man. The kid makes plays. You
Okay.
should definitely check him out.
All right. All right. Well, my final words is I hope that this conference championship lives up to a good standard. I don't want to see a lot of blowouts. I really don't. Now I expect like 1 or 2, and you know the one I expect. It's Duke, Virginia. But other than that,
Yeah,
I hope for some good games. Um,
I'm hoping
put the
for two
word out.
blowouts specifically, but I'm sure
Chill out, bro.
context
Chill
clues
out,
can pull
bro.
that
Get your
out.
personal feelings out of this. Put the word out. We bike. Michigan State is back. We got a random $401 million donation allegedly out of nowhere. That's how much
Whoa,
yeah, that's crazy, right? That's how
whoa!
much people believe in Pat Fitzgerald, I guess.
y'all got Dave Portnoy too.
Hey, we got the stimulus package out of nowhere. Whoever is the
Hey,
CEO of
shout out to whoever
Acrisure.
printing that money.
It was whoever's the
That's
CEO of
crazy.
Acrisure, allegedly. I won't say allegedly because I don't know
For
if it's
real?
100. Yeah. Um,
That's funny.
So shout out to you for trying to get MSU back because we should be back. I love Pat Fitzgerald, and I saw that the allegations of Pat Fitzgerald was actually wrong, and that he was
Yeah, they were. I saw that.
yeah. So shout out to him. Shout out Alicio Velocevic, the quarterback of this year. He's He said we're running it back. I was hoping he stays. I thought he was about to be a Sam Levitt if he left. Because Sam Levitt came from MSU. So I'm glad to see that.
All y'all best players always leave, but I think that
bruh, Nick Marsh is in the transfer portal, bro. Please, Pat, convince him to come back. Yes, expected to hit the transfer portal. I expected it. I ain't gonna lie. I told my mother like it's gonna hurt my heart when I see Nick Marsh in the UGA uniform. But if Pat Fitzgerald can convince him to come back,
probably is.
I was so serious. I think if he leaves, he's going to Georgia. But if Pat can convince him to come back, I would love it. Basketball, just doing a great job. We're undefeated. Battle undefeated tomorrow against Duke. That should be a great game. And we'll see what the committee thinks after this weekend. Ace, if I go live about the committee reaction, would you join me?
What time would that be? That's Sunday, like 7, 8.
I can look it up right now because I'm pretty sure they're not going live Tuesday. I'm pretty sure they're going to live, like you said, Sunday, the day after.
I think it's Sunday. Let's
see. If I can stop.
Oh, it's Sunday at noon.
Hey, would you go live with me, or we can do that. You busy?
Well, actually, let me confirm with you.
Yeah, I'm about to say you don't gotta answer like yes, no, but cool. You got my number. I hit you.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's get these playoffs rolling, man. Can't wait.
Stop.
I'm so very excited. Hopefully Michigan enjoys the Birmingham Bowl because you ain't enjoying the playoffs. And before you say, yeah, my team sucked. At least we won the Chipotle Bowl. That's all that matters. The game versus Maryland with the Chipotle Bowl. That's all we got for
you. Is way better when MSU was good. That's all I'm gonna say.
Man, let them know. And I'm not even a fan of those sentiments, but I mean, like, come on, bro.
No, it's the truth. It's kind of like when Virginia Tech is good in the ACC. You know what I mean? It's like the more hands is in the pot, the better it is.
Preacher. I ain't gonna lie to you, preacher, but that's all we got for y'all tonight. Y'all enjoy the R2L Show. It's currently going on right now. As the cat got another cameo. And we'll see y'all Sunday. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.